Junk food supper.
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 Junk food
Junk
supper.
food supper.
Junk food supper.
Junk food supper.
Junk food supper.
We are record.
Junk food supper.
All right.
Junk food supper.
Welcome to Junk Food Supper, the internet's #1 podcast about movies, friendship, mini golf, and other things. I'm one of your hosts, Sean Byron, joined as always by Perky Beantown Bowman, aka Parker Bowman, up there in the 559. What's going on, Mr. Bowman?
Nothing much. It's a big week for us. This is numerically our 1-year anniversary of doing Junk Food Supper, as this is our 52nd episode, right? Which,
Yeah.
if we weren't taking a break every 3 weeks to record with Kevin, that would be a year's worth of shows. So this counts. This counts, I would say. I say this is our 1-year anniversary of being a show.
I think the math holds out, you know? I can't argue with those kind of numbers. They all seem sound to me.
Yeah, if you were looking at a calendar, it would have been like a couple of months ago, like April or something, but I don't look at calendars.
No.
I look at episode numbers. That's how I tell time. So, happy 1-year anniversary to you.
Well, thanks, Bowman, and I'm relieved that, not only do we not look at calendars, but we don't look at the massive volume of congratulatory messages that we received. I've been holding out to even look in our email inbox for the past couple months because I wasn't ready to celebrate that 1-year anniversary, but now that I am, I'll go check our inbox. I'm sure it's going to be flooded with congratulations and happy anniversaries, and I look forward to that.
There's tons in there. Hundreds. I've read and responded to hundreds personally.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. That's why we pay you the big bucks.
You get that right. But aside from that celebration, it's a deeply sad week this week for us, I would say. For us personally.
Oh.
What happened?
Our favorite director, David Lynch, is essentially retired due to health concerns.
Son of a bitch.
It's very upset. Kevin's upset too.
I know, and I didn't even know that Kevin would have cared. But yeah, I saw that news. I think that he's since kind of rescinded his retirement statement or whatever. There was like a Instagram post that he put out today, one of those classic Instagram posts that's just a screenshot of a bunch of text.
Mm-hmm.
And It was like hey, I'm not retired. I do have emphysema, but I did enjoy smoking for all those years. I don't regret it. And I'm not retired. I'm going to do stuff.
Yeah. Well, all right. I mean, I hope he feels good enough to do that.
Yeah.
I hope he's going to make some more monkey videos.
I mean, emphysema or no, the prospect of a dude his age getting the opportunity to direct something of note again, I mean, it very rarely happens unless you're like Ridley Scott, I guess.
Yeah, we've talked about this, but it is weird that guys like David Lynch and like John Waters and guys like that seem to struggle with getting movies made. I mean, I don't know what David Lynch's thing is specifically, but yeah, it seems like, well, I mean, yeah, I guess he was trying to get that cartoon going and like that other stuff. Like he's got stuff that he's been trying to get going, and yeah, it just doesn't happen for whatever reason. You would think people would throw money at these guys, these legendary directors.
Yeah, and my guess is with Lynch, he's going to find other ways to fill his time. I'm sure he's got a whole new line of furniture that he's working on in his workshop or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got a lot of woods to go out there and find and touch the grains of.
Yeah, he's got plenty of reverb that he's got to apply to some songstress's new tracks, you know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I mean, it's a bummer. Honestly, I kind of feel like maybe what he was trying to say initially that might have got framed incorrectly or something is that without smoking, and he's not smoking anymore, he doesn't have the desire to direct. Because I can see that, like, it seemed to me like smoking and directing went hand in hand for the guy, and I feel like if he can't light up, he's maybe just gonna do other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like if you're you might need that stress reliever if you're going through all the trouble of, getting all those light bulbs and filming them burn out in slow motion. And, this is probably a very stressful situation for you.
Yeah, and I mean, who could get through a day of shooting matches being lit without, feeling the urge to use one of those matches to light a cigarette?
That is true. And also, who could deal with Balthazar Getty being in some of your most prominent projects without smoking? Certainly not me.
But you've proven that time and time again.
I can't even watch the son of a bitch in a movie or a TV show without smoking.
I see you chain smoking over there. You got that whole pack of Pall Malls. I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a bummer.
Yeah, I saw some people on Twitter, like somebody on Twitter with got 89,000 likes or something for a tweet where he retweeted the news about David Lynch, and he was like, I hope this shows everybody that it's just not worth smoking no matter how cool you look. And it's like, bro, that's not why people smoke. That's the jokey reason. The real reason is you smoke because it kind of takes the pain of being alive away for 15 minutes, basically. It's not about looking cool.
Yeah, well, and also, I mean, I think Lynch, if you want to point to reasons not to smoke, Lynch is the worst possible example that you could come up with. There's plenty of people who did nothing with their lives and died young as a result of smoking, but we're talking about a guy that chain smoked his entire life. He's fucking 80 years old or whatever, made incredible artwork all while smoking. I think it was a good deal for him.
Yeah, he came out on top with that one.
Yeah. But, anyways, that's our installment of Cigarette News, our exclusive segment on this show.
A junk food supper original.
Yep.
Yeah. So, well, other than that, you been watching any movies? You been getting into anything?
I've been attempting to get into things. This past weekend, it was very hot down here in the Southland. As you know, it was hot up there in the Central Land as well.
Oh yeah.
And we thought, hey, let's get out of the house. But we can't do it during the daytime. But what would be real nice is let's go out tonight as soon as, not as soon as, but a little bit after the sun sets, things cool off. We'll go out, we'll get some ice creams. We'll go play some miniature golfs. It's going to be a wonderful time. And we went down to our ice cream spot, we go right down the 710 into Downey, California, head over to the Handel's Ice Cream. Do you know this place? I think it's an Ohio chain or something.
Oh, I don't know it from Ohio, but I know it because one just opened here not too long ago. We actually had it, I think last night as well.
It's great. I mean, they started spreading to the California, I think, I don't know, within the past year or something. That's when I first noticed it. But I feel like they're starting to pop up around LA. And we had tried it a couple times, loved it, delicious stuff. They got those monster malts. You get a monster-sized malt milkshake. I'm all about it. But we showed up Saturday night, and this is 10 o'clock, 10 p.m., because this spot's open till 11. There's a line around the block. No joke. I mean, 200 people or something. It was a flash mob. And so we're well, this is not going to happen. Let's just go to the mini golf. Luckily, the mini golf spot is open till midnight. And so, we go over to the mini golf. Same fucking thing. It's just jam packed. And I guess everybody was just indoors all day. And so everybody had the same idea of what are the two things that are open past 9 o'clock or whatever. And it was mini golf and ice cream. So long story short, we walked around the mini golf course without playing, but just kind of standing behind parties that were playing and watching their shots, and kind of, me and the wife were kind of commenting on people's shots. That's pretty impressive. You got the bank, as if they were our friends or something, and we were a part of their party. And we just kind of floated from party to party for a little while and enjoyed the big castle hole that they got. They got the big, the shoe house, it's the old woman in the shoe type of thing, all your classic holes. And then on the way out, we popped back over at that ice cream place, still jam-packed. So it's kind of a failure of an evening, and that was the most exciting thing that happened to me this past week.
Well, I'm sad to hear this. Those ice creams are good.
They are.
I got the key lime pie recently myself. That's a good one.
Oh, man, that sounds great.
They've got a horchata one that you got to try.
I have tried the horchata one.
Oh, it's very tasty.
You're looking at me like I'm not eating horchata ice cream all the time. Any chance I can get, man.
It is delicious. They actually, now that you mention it, I think them being an Ohio chain is reasonable because they have a Buckeye ice cream, which I thought was weird. I've gotten a few times and I always think it's weird. I'm like, why would California ice cream have a Buckeye ice cream? But that actually makes sense. That would explain the Buckeye that they have, which is very tasty.
It could have just been an attempt to reach out to you personally, you know?
That could be.
I'm looking it up now. Yeah, Youngstown, Ohio.
Okay, I know where that is. That part of Friday the 13th, Part 9, Jason Goes to Hell, takes place in Youngstown.
Did they say Youngstown or did they say Youngston?
They say Youngstown.
Okay.
As far as I know. I've never been there, so I don't know how people who live there say it, but everybody I've ever known says Youngstown.
You know, sometimes that happens, though. Like, even though there is a W in there, they're like, we're not pronouncing that.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. It was the mini golf course from The Karate Kid, though, so I should mention that. That was exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the sound of that.
What about you? Did you actually achieve anything that you attempted this past week, or what?
That's a good question. I believe that I did. I think I went to the movies this week, right? I believe so. Yeah, in fact, I did go to the movies. I saw a movie called Trap, the new M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Oh, yeah. Based on this week's Taylor Swift concert news, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, oddly enough. Yeah, I was excited for this. And then, like, much to my surprise, like, the internet was also very excited for this. Like, there were a lot of memes and a lot of people, like, unironically, like, hyped for a movie that just seemed like it exists solely for, like, fun, you know? Like, So I got caught up in that. I was posting some memes as well. And it was a good movie, I felt.
I feel like there is something just kind of instantly exciting about a movie that takes place in a very crowded venue. You know, I'm thinking of Snake Eyes, you know, the De Palma film. I just like being stuck in this arena, you know, with tons of people while there's, you know, some kind of tense thriller type, plot being constructed.
I actually do think that Shyamalan was thinking of Snake Eyes as well while making this. It's very, very De Palma-y, very Hitchcock-y. There's like a lot of split diopter shots, a lot of like kind of like, it's got like that kind of like Hitchcock-y, like the movies where Hitchcock kind of like lets loose and like lets jokes happen and it's kind of fun. Like it's got like that kind of like sense of humor to it where like the movie winks at you, like almost, you know, like it's got like a playfulness to it. It's so I definitely think he was thinking about those guys as well, especially Snake Eyes. Like it's very similar to Snake Eyes in a lot of ways.
The other example that I can think of is The Killing, the Kubrick movie, you know, where they're all at the racetrack and there's a heist going on. But there's not enough of these kind of movies, I guess, you know, where there's mostly just kind of one location, but it's packed full of people. Yeah.
And I don't think they fudged it. If they did, like if they filmed this in like something like The Volume or something, like the Disney thing, like they did a great job. Like I think that they just actually, you know, shot in a stadium for a few hours a day or something. Cause yeah, like, I mean, it's pretty convincing that there's a shitload of extras just hanging around in a lot of the scenes. So yeah, I don't think they fudged it. If they did a convincing job. But yeah, it looks like they were just really there, had a shitload of people in a stadium filming this movie.
So it sounds like you're saying M. Night's back, baby.
Oh, I've been saying that for a while. But I think now more people are saying it. I think the people seem to like this movie for the most part. There's been some haters out there, but yeah, I think he's been back for like 10 years or something. Like, Split was good, and Glass, Knock at the Cabin, The Visitors. Like, I'm fully back on board with him. We're over our troubles. We're over The Happening. We've talked it out. We're over After Earth, Last Airbender. I'm fully back on board with this man.
And this one was starring your homeboy Glenn, is that right?
Glenn Humplick.
Yeah, from the Tom Green Show.
Yeah. We got the Glenn Humplick. We got a piece of stick.
No, I'm talking, what's his name? Is it Glenn Powell? Is that the guy?
Oh, no. I wish. Josh Hartnett was in this. But
Oh, okay.
He's sort of like the older Glenn Powell.
What's the Glenn Powell vehicle that I'm thinking of?
You thinking about Hitman or Twisters?
Twisters, that's what he just did. Okay.
Yeah, which I saw too. I actually like that movie too.
Well,
It's another kind of old school, just fun movie.
it's a good time to be a Bowman at a movie theater.
It really is. I've been liking a ton of movies so far this year.
Well, speaking of movies that you like, what about movies that we've reviewed on the show in the past?
I like some of them, many of them.
And others you might not be as crazy about.
That's true. Some of
And
them.
which ones are which? I think we're going to find out in a little segment called... We don't have a name for this segment, but you guys remember this?
Yeah, it's like, we get together, we rank the movies that we've talked about canonically. There's got to be some kind of name in there.
Yeah, the canonical rankings segment that everybody remembers, everybody loves. I'm sure most of those congratulatory emails in our inbox are about, all these segments we've done.
Yeah, send us a voicemail. Recommend a name for this segment. I mean, we're going to keep doing it. We've done it 5 times already. We do it every 10 episodes. So we're going to keep on doing it. So we need a name for it. Suggest a name.
Yeah. Don't expect us to come up with a name. And after all these years, all these names we've come up with, you think we're going to come up with another name? I don't think so, man.
We came up with the randomizer. That's as good as it's getting. We expended all of our energy on that. That was a good name. Randomizer 5000.
Yeah.
That's as good as it gets.
Yeah, and Happy Nude Year. I think that was us, right? I think that was JFD.
Certainly.
Yeah, I mean, not JFS probably, but...
We can take credit for that.
Yeah, okay. I will then. Kevin had nothing to do with it.
Not one bit.
So...
But yeah, this is the segment where we take the last 10 films that we talked about on the last 10 episodes, and we figure out which ones were good and which ones were bad by looking at our Letterboxd rankings, or our Letterboxd ratings for each of them, and averaging them together. And then that gives the movie an objective, canonical JFS score, and then we rank them.
I think that sounds right.
Yeah, and then I guess when on the very last episode of this show, we will just rank all however many movies it will have been by that point, and we'll have a definitive rankings. That's how it will work mathematically.
And nobody can question it, because by that time, we'll have a great name for this segment. And then it's going to be bulletproof.
Absolutely. So, let's see, what was our 40? We're doing 41 through 50 here. That means Return of the Swamp Thing is the very first movie we'll be talking about here in ranking.
Yeah. Now, this was a Jim Wynorski movie.
A Jim Wynorski masterpiece. Top echelon of Wynorski movies. S-tier Wynorski, I would say.
Wow. We're going that far.
Well, maybe it's A tier. It's up there. It's pretty good. Pretty good Wynorski film.
All right.
But
does that mean it's a 5-star affair, or what is the upper bound for a Wynorski, I guess, is my question.
Well, I guess here comes the backhanded compliment. So, S-tier Wynorski, I gave it 3.5 stars on Letterboxd.
Damn, dude. So that's where he peaks.
Well, no, I think a Chopping Mall, I've got it like a 4 or a 4.5. Deathstalker, I think, is a 4. So, this is up there, but it's not, I guess, not the peak.
Yeah, I didn't log this on Letterboxd. This is becoming more and more of a thing with me as of late, is that I'm forgetting to log things on Letterboxd. I'm looking ahead at this list, and it looks like there's going to be several of these that I just completely failed to log. So I have to rely on my own memory
Oh no.
which is pretty faulty as to what I thought of these. And I know my memory. I know how bad it is. And so I actually pulled up my notes for the Return of Swamp Thing. And the very last sentence I wrote in my notes was, it's nothing incredible, but, somehow the combination of elements here works well enough to satisfy. At the same time, in 10 years, I probably won't remember having seen it. I got to report back. It didn't take 10 years. It's only been,
10 weeks?
How many weeks? 10 weeks? I don't remember jack shit about this movie. I don't remember anything about this movie. But just skimming through my notes, I'm going to say it's a three-star movie.
Okay. Well, I remember you liking it for whatever that's worth. I remember you having fun with it.
If I had disliked it, I would probably remember it. But you're going 3.5. That's your upper bound for old Jimmy.
Yep.
All right. Well, then we average out at 3.25.
Okay.
Man, I should see this Return of Swamp Thing. It sounds cool.
It's a really fun movie. There's like some really cool monster suits.
Yeah. Very few monster suits in the next movie. Angel Guts, Red Classroom. This is a sleazy, pinky violence, Roman porno flick from Japan. That's kind of got like elements of like found footage horror sort of kind of melded in there. You remember this. I enjoy this movie a lot. That's why I picked it.
This is the one where the guy gets like obsessed with the like pornographic actress.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I remember this. A lot of these like, this is a Roman porno. Is that how this would be described?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Some of these kind of meld together for me. But yeah, I remember liking this. I thought it was sufficiently grimy. It reminded me of Audition, if memory serves, and that's a movie I like a lot. So yeah, I liked this pretty okay. I gave it a 3.
Okay, well, I had it at 4, so we're at 3.5.
Okay.
Now you're gonna have to refresh my memory on what the fuck this next movie was. Oh,
what?
now that I'm seeing the cover, I do remember it. Just a very non-memorable title, Flesh Plus Blood, the Paul Verhoeven Middle Ages type movie.
Yeah, this is a 1985 Paul Verhoeven movie where Rutger Hauer plays a Middle Ages medieval mercenary who kidnaps Jennifer Jason Leigh, does horrible things to her, takes her to a castle that's full of the plague, and her valiant prince, who is also kind of a piece of shit, has to come to save her. But maybe also she doesn't need saving. It's a very good film, very kind of early Verhoeven. He was still working it out. This is before RoboCop and everything. But I love this movie. It's so grimy. It's so gray areas. Like there's no real like good guys or bad guys. It's just like all these pieces of shit living in the medieval world doing horrible things. I like it a great deal. I gave it 4.5.
I did not like this movie. As I recall, it was mostly just the word betrothed being said over and over again by 16 different people whose names I didn't know. It did have a very high boob factor, but I felt ashamed watching any of those scenes with boobs because they were all among the most unpleasant scenes with boobs I've ever seen. This was a movie that just felt like homework to me, and that's honestly the worst kind of JFD or JFS pick, is when it feels like homework. So I liked a little bit of, the set dressing here and there. Maybe that's why I gave it a 2.
Oh, Dios mío, that's unfortunate.
You had it at what?
4.5.
4.5. I don't know if that's right. You might want to check that.
No, I love Verhoeven. He's one of my mainest dudes.
Well, I feel like we're going to agree on the next pick.
Yeah.
Right?
I think we're going to agree, I think, on 2 of these being very, very high on this list, and this is one of them.
Although I wonder what your ceiling is for this, because before you give me your rating for the Roller Games World Premiere Special, I'll just say I'm giving it 5. And the reason I'm giving it 5, I don't think they could have premiered a better, installment of Roller Games. So in terms of like what they were trying to achieve, deliver some fun, colorful, roller derby type nonsense under a slightly different branded name. It's a 5 out of 5. I mean, how could this be any more fun?
Well, I will remind you that the Lita Ford performance kind of sucked.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And I think there was 2 other performances, and honestly, it should have just been 1 instead of 3, I think.
Yeah, Debbie Harry performed and somebody else.
Yeah, that Lita Ford one was rough.
Yeah, that was very bad. Okay,
4.5. You've made your case, but I will not go lower than 4.5.
I wouldn't ask you to go lower than 4.5 because I went with 4.5. I think this is a masterpiece. I think this is super fun. It got me into roller derby very heavily for about 3 weeks after we watched it. And then I haven't watched another one since, but for those 3 weeks, I was like roller derbied out.
Yeah.
I hit it hard. So yeah, I thought this was a lot of fun.
And, even if you are taking a bit of a respite from the world of roller derby, it's always going to be there for you. You can go back anytime. They're not going to turn you away.
Yeah, there's still a lot of episodes I haven't watched.
But what you have watched is the next movie, Bones and All.
I have seen this. This is that Luca Guadagnino jam that came out during COVID that kind of got a shortened theatrical release because of, or like at the very end of COVID, something like that. It's about 2 people who fall in love and have a very weird disposition, without spoiling it. Have something very peculiar about the 2 of them that connects them. I liked this, but I wasn't in love with it. I gave it 3.5. This guy's a guy who I'm all over the place with. Like, I love Challengers. I didn't really like Suspiria. This one I'm kind of closer to Challengers than Suspiria. And then there's still a bunch I need to see. But 3.5 for this one. I liked it.
I can't say that I liked this movie. I thought the guy, Luca, pulled off some difficult things in this movie. Like, it was impressive in a way. But what he was trying to achieve is just not a movie that I really have much time for. Especially when there's already, I think, much better and more kind of poetic or lyrical examples of this kind of a movie, I don't know. There's a million Bonnie and Clyde movies out there, and I would take Natural Born Killers over this, or almost any of them.
Yeah, it's like Badlands, but with like an urban fantasy sort of fairy tale angle to it, kind of a thing.
But I don't know, it doesn't have that kind, like Badlands, even when things are very grim, there's some sort of weird whimsy to it. And maybe that's because of the narration, or just, the portrayal from Sissy Spacek and the score and the way that it's photographed. And in this, like, it's got none of that whimsy. It's everything's gray and blue, and characters are very severe, and it can be just kind of a bummer of a movie. So I rated it 3, just based on how impressed I was. But yeah, not a movie that I probably will ever revisit.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair.
You had what, 3.5?
3.5.
All right. The next one is actually the first one that I did log on Letterboxd, I think.
Yeah, that would make sense. You saw this one before the show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that's what it is. It's not even a recent logging. It's from a while back, from 2011. I Don't Know Jack, the documentary about Jack Nance, where we learned about his untimely end. I guess I won't spoil it in case you haven't seen it, but dude lived a hard, weird life. It ended in kind of a messy way. There's a real fascinating kind of DVD extra for Meatballs 4 that's buried in this documentary. And for that story alone, man, I think you gotta watch this if you have even a mild interest in David Lynch or Jack Nance or Meatballs. It's not an incredible documentary, but it's definitely like a labor of love and done on the cheap. But considering there's no other documentary about the guy, and this is kind of your only source to learn more about him, I gotta give it 4 stars.
Yeah. I like this movie because it's sort of like a Venn diagram of stuff we like. It's like there's a lot of David Lynch in here, but then there's also like a lot of Corey Feldman in here. So it's like it's really perfect for us. Because I like David Lynch and you like Corey Feldman, I think is the point I'm trying to make. I like David Lynch more than you do. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Kevin agrees.
Yeah, he knows. So yeah, parts of this I thought were interesting. A lot of it's just like kind of talking heads stuff about this fellow that I wasn't like super into, but the interesting parts were very interesting, mostly towards the end. And I just like learning about David Lynch adjacent things since I've been inundated with him, been doing the deep dive with him lately. So this was all right. I gave it 3.
What the fuck?
3 is good.
All right, we'll put you down for 4.
Put me down for 3.
All right, we put you down for 3.
All right, so let's put you down for 4 for this next one. This is a Manhunter from 1986, the Michael Mann film, based on one of the Silence of the Lambs books, the very first Hannibal Lecter cinematic experience. This is a very stylish film. This is the movie that Longlegs wants to be, in that it's about an autistic detective searching for a nearly supernatural serial killer. So that's cool. I love this movie. I got some problems with it. It takes out some of my favorite parts of the book, and that's not cool. There's also, as we've talked about, some very confusing serial situations in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
That I don't know. I'm a little torn. Like for a while, I thought I was on Justin's side, that the serial stuff makes sense. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I agree that it's a mistake. The whole scene is a mistake.
It's absolutely a mistake. This movie's just full of like weird gaffes like that, where it's like clearly they didn't know how to operate a camera yet.
Maybe I'm with Justin that like the symbology is there, like that the conversation he has with his kid starts out in the cereal aisle because he's a child, and then at the end of the conversation he's a man, so they're in like the coffee aisle. That makes sense to me as well. I would think that as a fan of Twin Peaks season 3 that kind of thing can make sense to you. That feels like a very David Lynchian sort of thing.
I mean, it could make sense in the hands of a director that is otherwise demonstrating the ability to like properly operate a camera, but considering this is the same guy that fucked up that shot where he's zooming into the door that opens and there's an ugly ass cut right in the middle of it.
That is true.
I think this was just a run and gun, quickly produced movie that he didn't really care to hire a continuity person for.
Well, that also could be. I mean, he also didn't hire a guy to tell him that there should be a Red Dragon in his Red Dragon movie. So I don't know.
Which I think is fine when you're making a Toxic Avenger, or you're making an Evil Dead, or you're making the kind of low-budget movie where roughness around the edges is maybe part of the charm. But I don't feel that way about like a police procedural about a serial killer. Like in my mind, that's got to be a relatively slickly produced movie, and I don't know why that is, but I just have no time or interest in like a shaky, low-budget cop movie. You know what I mean? When we got so many big-budget ones that look nice.
Yeah, and the movies he made before this are like a lot slicker, like Thief, which we talked about.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But, well, suffice it to say, I like this movie a great deal, even with its flaws and things. So I gave it a 4.
No, you didn't. That is an insane number.
No, I like it quite a bit.
I gave it a 2. So I guess we'll meet in the middle, as is tradition. We'll call it a 3.
Justin's going to be very upset to hear this.
I mean, honestly, if I'm being honest with myself and just purely putting in numbers based on my enjoyment level, out of all these movies, I think I enjoyed Manhunter the least. It probably would be lower than a 2, but
oh my.
In my heart, I feel like I gotta give some credit to Michael Mann, because everybody else seems to love this movie, and I know that he would go on to do other things that were, more impressive, and so I don't know. But just in terms of, as a viewing experience, I remember this is the one out of all these that I do remember, and my memory of it is just pulling my hair out, being so frustrated at all these shitty actors doing a terrible job reading their dialogue, seemingly for the first time.
Yeah, you did seem pretty upset about that one guy, the main guy.
Fuck that guy. Even Chris Elliott is wasted in this.
Well, that's true. I do agree with that part.
Anyways.
Well, next movie we've got. Not a movie at all. Pro wrestling star Aztekizer.
Wait a minute. If it's not a movie, why is it on Letterboxd?
I put it on Letterboxd.
You put something on Letterboxd?
Me personally. I also put the roller games on Letterboxd.
Wow.
The two TV shows you picked.
Wow. All right.
Well, I mean, yeah. We've got the master list here of everything we've done on the show, and I need the numbers to match up with the episode numbers. Like, I would just... My brain would melt if there was a gap here. It's bad enough on those huge lists we have of the junk food dinner movies that we've done, and it's like 400 movies. Like, I've been going back and like putting them all together in lists, like the movies we did by year, And it's like 400 movies, and sometimes something won't be on Letterboxd, and that makes me upset if we're missing 1 out of 400. But if we were to be missing 1 out of 52 in the junk food supper list, I would fucking be mad all the time. So I had to put these on Letterboxd.
Well, it looks like you are still the only person to have logged either this or roller games. So this is an opportunity, listeners out there, if you want to be cool and log something on Letterboxd that almost nobody else has, in fact, only one other person has, get on it. Go log these. Yeah,
it'll show up on your most obscure movie ranking that Letterboxd does if you pay to be a member or whatever.
Yeah, almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
I loved Aztekizer. This was one of my picks. I didn't know about it until fairly recently, but it blew my mind that there was a pro wrestling based sci-fi action show in Japan in the 1970s, and that featured real wrestlers like Antonio Inoki. Is it like the most incredibly groundbreaking show outside of like the pro wrestling angle of it? No, I mean, it's pretty much just Ultraman or Kamen Rider or any of those shows, kind of Monster of the Week shows. But I think, putting the pro wrestling angle on it and doing it as earnestly as they did is enough for me to love this thing. So I guess I would give this, I'm going to go 4.5.
4.5. Yeah, I also enjoyed it. I went with 3.5 because I do like. I think we watched like 3 or 4 of these, and I think they were starting to get a little repetitive by the end. But yeah, that's really my only issue with it, though. Outside of that, it was like super fun, colorful, action packed. Kind of fun that they mixed a little anime into the story, and like that it was like part of it, like. That's part of his power set, is that he becomes an anime. Like, it's not just like a stylistic thing, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so yeah, it was fun. 3.5 for me.
Yeah, hopefully someday somebody gets the rights to this and restores it and translates the remaining episodes, because I would love to watch all of this. I think there's only like 20-ish episodes or something. It's not a ton of them, but sadly, most of them still have not been translated. So I wouldn't mind revisiting this were it to be translated someday.
Yeah. Speaking of revisiting things,
Oh, I see.
we got the movie. You see what I'm saying? I can't explain what I mean without spoiling the movie, but we got Triangle from 2008. This is a movie by Christopher Smith. Go see it. It's a movie that I fucking love. 5 stars for me. A resounding yes on this movie. Stars Melissa George, who we all know from Mulholland Drive, right? The David Lynch movie.
Yeah. And we also know her from The Jungle. She's Melissa George of The Jungle.
That's the worst joke I've ever heard. 0 stars for that joke. But yeah, I love this movie. A lady and her friend get stranded on a boat. Crazy shit happens. Perhaps there's a killer on the boat with them.
Yeah. I actually have a clip from that movie that I'll play right now.
Okay, we're back.
Oh, yeah. We all remember that scene.
Okay, we're back.
Yep. I remember that happening. But you like this movie as well, if memory serves.
Yeah, I do like this movie. I think for a low-budget horror movie, it's very inventive, and they were pretty clever about how they spent their money, and I think the lead actress does a good job. And I mean, I guess maybe my only criticism is it feels like a little bit kind of I don't know, is schmaltzy the right word? Or it's kind of like a little bit, I don't know, the emotional beats don't land with me, I think, as fully as maybe the filmmaker intended. They feel just a little bit kind of Hallmark movie at times. But other than that, I mean, I think it's a pretty incredible little low-budget horror movie. I gave it 4.
Very nice. Very nice.
What about you?
I give this one a 5. I love it.
Whoa.
A perfect film.
Damn, son. You're the only one to hit a 5 so far.
Yeah.
Will we see a 5 in our final pick of this 10 movie selection, Message from Space? I mean, considering I'm not getting anywhere near a 5 with this, I would be shocked if you got near a 5 on Message from Space. This was the Japanese Star Wars ripoff that some people tried to tell me was not even like Star Wars, and I think that's a crazy statement because it's very much like Star Wars. I love the costumes. I love the wallpapers. I think you also loved the wallpapers. But, I mean, this is it's not the best movie we've ever seen, right?
Yeah. I thought that was pretty boring. It was kind of a slog to get through. It just kind of bored me. In fact, when I was watching it, this is what I had to say.
It's already late and I'm getting sleepy.
Oh, there it is.
We got him.
We got it. I love it.
That's how this movie made me feel. It was late and I was so sleepy watching it. So yeah, I gave it a 2. Kind of a boring movie. Cool miniatures though.
It is boring. It's not a great movie. It doesn't make any sense, but I am rating it at 4.
What?
And I do that because I love those wallpapers so much.
This is crazy.
Mostly. I mean, I do it because this is the pinnacle of high-budget Japanese sci-fi from the 70s. Like, for better or worse, and the result is, for the most part, worse. This is the most money that you're going to see spent on Japanese spaceships. And you know what? That's something that I treasure, is these overpriced Japanese spaceship effects that are not as convincing as Star Wars, but they're in the same... No, they're almost in the same ballpark as Star Wars.
Kind
of. I mean, given the time period, it's kind of impressive. So, I don't know. It's. I can fully see most people not enjoying it, and I didn't really love it or anything, but the parts of it that I did love were, significant for me.
Yeah, that's understandable. Well, I think that's it. That's 41 through 50. The last 10 movies.
It is. So should we go through the results here?
Yeah, let's see how everything shook out.
All right, well, coming in the top spot is a tie at 4.5 between the Roller Games World Premiere Special, which I think is rightly ranked at number 1. And if you try and argue with that, I don't even know what's going to happen. And then Triangle.
Yeah, I mean, I think we got to put Triangle above it since that's a real movie, right?
Wow, but what says JFS more than the Roller Games World Premiere Special?
Well, that is a good point.
Put it this way: if there was a universe where we never reviewed Roller Games versus we never reviewed Triangle, which of these universes is worse off?
That's a good point. Let me go back through and see. Like, it would be kind of weird if this was like our number 1 rated movie ever. Let me look at some of these other ones. All right, we got Blade Runner and Cabaret were also 4.5.
Right.
And
Loaded Weapon 1 was 4.25.
Yeah. Where's Fire Walk with Me? That should be. Oh wait, we didn't do Fire Walk with Me proper. Okay. Well, yeah. All right. We got a couple other movies that are up there, so I guess that's fine. I guess that works. I would just feel very weird if it was the highest rated movie of the show of all time, but Blade Runner and Cabaret are up there. We can agree that when we do the entire list, that Blade Runner and Cabaret will be above this movie, right?
I think we can agree. Yeah,
okay,
I'll make that agreement based on a theoretical date, many years in the future, probably.
Yeah, as long as we can agree on that, then I'll accept Roller Games being higher than Triangle.
Well, from here, then, it gets a little bit easier, at least for one pick, because Aztekaiser sits alone with 4 points at the 3 spot. I think we all feel good about that, right?
I feel great about that.
But how are you feeling about these next two? Head-to-head at 3.5, we got Angel Guts, Red Classroom, and I Don't Know Jack.
Well,
that seems right to me, right? The actual movie beats out the documentary in this case.
I disagree. I think I would go with I Don't Know Jack because Corey Feldman's involved. So I think that puts it above. And also, I mean, come on, this is primarily a David Lynch podcast. I think we'd be remiss to put I Don't Know Jack below this other one.
That's fair. That is fair. So put I Don't Know Jack there. Put Angel Guts, Red Classroom below it. All right. And then we got a triple tie at 3.25 points. You're looking at The Return of Swamp Thing, Flesh Plus Blood, and Bones and All.
I would go with Flesh and Blood at the top, followed by Swamp Thing and Bones and All. That's how I would put these.
I think I would be the exact opposite order.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think I would say Bones and All, then Swamp Thing, and then Flesh and Blood. I don't know how we resolve this when we're diametrically opposed.
Very odd. So we both have Swamp Thing in the middle?
Yeah, I think so.
Then let's put Swamp Thing on top.
Okay.
That's how we'll fix this.
Okay. But then we're talking between Bones and All and Flesh Plus Blood. I think we gotta go Bones and All, man.
I think that's fine. That's not the way I would go with it, but I also like that movie, so I'm not gonna be too mad about it, I guess.
Yeah, but plus, we're shouting out a current filmmaker. Like I know Paul Verhoeven is still making movies, but this Luca guy's probably got more years ahead of him.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, he probably needs our support,
Yeah. Also, I just really love that canonically we're putting Jim Wynorski above 2 Oscar winners, I believe, right? Like Verhoeven and Luca Guadagnino. I think Verhoeven's probably won an Oscar. Probably a special effects Oscar, not one of the real ones, I guess. But
yeah, maybe honorary, lifetime achievement.
He's got something, I'm sure.
And then tied at the bottom with 3 points each, we got Manhunter and Message from Space.
This has got to be Manhunter.
I mean, you know that I wouldn't agree with that, but I'm also not going to fight you on it.
I think if we had Manhunter at the very bottom of this list, Justin would probably throw hands at us.
Yeah. He would probably unlike and unsubscribe.
I think so. But on the bright side, all these movies are 3 and above, which means we only did good movies this last 10. So that's a good sign. That's pretty good, right?
Hey, that means we're getting better at this podcasting endeavor.
I think so. Looking back, the last one had a few movies under that 3 stars threshold. The one before that had a good many. The one before that had very many, I think.
Yeah, well, that's back when we were doing movies like Aqua Teen Hunger Force Plantasm on the show.
And Ready to Rumble and stuff. Yeah, there's some weird movies in the first 10. We were figuring it out. I think the trajectory is good. We're doing better and better movies. Delightful. You love to see it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so just to run them back down again. Number 1 is Roller Games. Then number 2 is Triangle. Number 3 is Aztekizer. Number 4 is I Don't Know Jack. Number 5 is Angel Guts. 6 is Return of Swamp Thing. 7 Bones and All. 8 Flesh and Blood. 9 Manhunter. And then the 10th best movie we did in the last 10 weeks was Message from Space. Success.
Oh, hell yeah.
Kevin loves it. Well, all right. Success. Let's see how these guys out here in Junk Food Dinnerland feel about it. We got some voicemails.
Let's get those pickled icemen on the blower.
Oh, actually, let me, I haven't loaded them all up. Hold on a second.
Oh,
actually,
man.
all right, we got one. We got one here. Here we go. I think this is from our man Peter. Let's play this one first.
Hey, Junk Food Boys. It is Peter from Portland, calling in for 2 reasons. First one is to say, Sean, I love the moves you've been picking recently. First, you did the Kinju Fukasaku, Message from Space, which actually I didn't love the movie, but I love that director, and I love the opportunity to check out another one of his titles that I haven't seen yet. Same thing for this week. One of my other favorite Japanese directors, Kiyoshi Kurosawa, he's one of my favorite dudes. And I haven't seen Bumpkin Soup yet, and I'm excited to check it out, especially with the Juzo Itami connection. So great choices on that. Keep up the good work. The other thing I wanted to ask you guys is if either of you have seen that French movie, The Beast. It is really wild. There was a sort of like a live stream of it a couple weeks ago on the Criterion channel. I think it's still up on the Criterion channel. And I think you should really check it out, especially if you want to sort of have a look at all the stuff that's coming out this year to make your best and worst of the year list. I would not be surprised if this movie was on either your best or your worst list, but I have no idea which one it'll be. It's a really divisive film. It's trying a lot of different stuff. It's probably the only movie I've seen where people on Letterboxd are comparing it to Cloud Atlas and Funny Games and Mulholland Drive. So, yeah, I mean, really wild movie. And I don't fully know how I feel about it, but Lea Seydoux is in it, and she's very beautiful, and it's nice to look at her for 3 hours. But yeah, I would say really check it out, again, to round out your year's best and worst list. Okay, take care. Looking forward to the show, and I don't know. Thanks for all of the great episodes week after week. Bye.
Thank you, Peter, for calling in, and thank you for this recommendation. I've not heard of this, The Beast movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You've heard about it?
Yeah, I think it's on Criterion at the moment. It's on the top of one of my streaming services, and so I'm constantly reminded of it, and I've been interested. I like Léa Seydoux. I like weird, kind of transgressive French movies from time to time, so I think I might like this. At first, I thought Peter was talking about the 1975 Porno La Bête, aka The Beast, which... Did we ever do that on the show? Do you remember a ghoulish porno called The Beast? Did we do that?
I don't believe so.
It's like a porno version of Beauty and the Beast?
No, that I would remember.
Okay.
As a furry.
Yeah. It's the proto-furry movie.
Okay. No, I don't think we did that. But this movie looks good. The synopsis is, as an artificial intelligence reigns, emotions have become a threat. To get rid of it, Gabrielle must purify her DNA by diving into the waters of Lake Minnetonka, it says. JK. She has to go back to her past lives. I was just making a little Prince reference there. Sean, I know you like Prince.
We got it.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I would watch that.
Agreed. And I agree. I would also watch Message from Space and Bumpkin Soup.
I would also watch those. But would you listen to this next voicemail? It's coming at you right now.
Kyle from Kentucky! That's his fucking name! You like calling into us, honey, and know the names he is the person you like find. Just smoking weed. If you're into Porky's, honey, he's got what you need in Kentucky. Kyle from Kentucky's gonna call into a show!
Hey guys, it's your old buddy Kyle from Kentucky. I just wanted to, I heard y'all talking about me on there the other day and it really made me feel good. I've been selling cars. I'm a car salesman now. You can trust me. I'm a car salesman. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I've just been learning that industry and trying to get the, learn something every day and try to get better and sell more cars. And I've already sold 6, which ain't too bad. But I will tell you that the show's been really, really good. Like I think the JFD shows have been much better since we went to once a month. But I love the junk food supper too. But guys, hey, I appreciate y'all and I'm glad y'all still doing it. And I love to listen. Keep up the good work.
Very nice.
Thank you, Kyle. I think Kevin will be glad to hear that you find the junk food dinner episodes better. I think that was his plan while going into retirement, so that he'll feel validated. And also, it's just pleasant to hear for me as well.
He did it for the listeners. It was not at all a self-serving decision that he made.
It wasn't because he had thousands of dollars of drive-in movie tickets to see. Yeah, to go see those drive-in movies every goddamn day. He's going to the drive-in.
Had nothing to do with the proximity of local chili dog vendors and his inability to eat them while podcasting.
Yeah. Actually, I know. Here's the real reason that Kevin only wanted to do the show once a month. You want to hear the real reason, Sean?
You know what?
It's already late and I'm so sleepy.
I knew it. I knew that the guy was tired. I got the sense of that when he fell asleep on the show a dozen times.
He's one of the sleepiest guys I know.
Yeah.
I'm too old for this.
Also, we do record at a time when it's like 2:30 in the morning his time, so I mean.
Also,
we record very late at night.
Baba Boom.
I don't know about that one. But,
Kevin Moss, what are you trying to imply?
But I'm glad you're selling cars, Kyle. 6 cars is way more than I could ever do.
That was the main point of this voicemail. Good to hear from Kyle. I'm thankful that Kyle's not holding it against me that I still have not clicked on his message on Facebook where he tells me about his car selling. In fact, I mean, if we want to just switch to voicemail as our primary method of communication, it'll be easier on me. If you don't want to do that, I understand. And I'm going to make an effort to look at my Facebook messages. Yeah. You were victim to this past week, weren't you? The classic Sean Byron ignore mode.
Yeah, it's true. I gave you a little digital present as a treat, and I expected that you would immediately run to your computer to take a look at what I uploaded for you, and just left me unread.
It would have been reasonable to assume, if I'm not going to go and download the file that you sent immediately, at least I would reply to your message and say thanks for sending it. I didn't even do that for days on end.
Well,
Meanwhile, I'm talking to you in other communication mediums because I know that I have to avoid the Facebook message because I don't want to open it because then it's going to be opened. And then I've got to act on it. And by act on it, I mean reply to you. I don't have time for that. Instead, I'm going to go find you on Discord and chat with you and Justin on Discord about Music League and other nonsense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you are busy with listening to fucking 30 ukulele songs. It takes a lot of energy.
It's true. It's true.
And then once you're out of energy, that's when you say...
It's already late and I'm so sleepy.
I love it.
I like that guy so much. All right, we've got one last voicemail. I'm not sure who this one is from, so let's find out together.
Hello, I'm calling regarding episode 674 regarding the whole George Soros thing. He picked me up over there at a Home Depot, and as I like to call him, a Jorge, he told me to call junk food dinner and Spanish up the place. He paid me $20, which is pretty good in this economy, but I was just calling to let you guys know about Intrépidos Punks, that it got a really good Blu-ray release, but it is missing a commentary track. It's missing the alternate artwork, and the other thing too is that there's a little bit of context missing because you guys were talking about the opening theme song. The band that did that song was called Three Souls in My Mind, and they're kind of like a blues rock band, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense if I try to explain it in English, but imagine if it's like the same thing when like Black Sabbath changed the vocalist. Instead of Ozzy, it was Dio, and it's kind of like that. It was after the fact that the lead singer quit from the original band, but now they had somebody else singing the song. I have the album, so I could share it with you guys, but that's the only thing that I thought was noteworthy. But other than that, keep up the great work, play great movies, and enjoy the show. And I hope you enjoy the Blu-ray because it's been a long time coming. And I really wish that they would use the VHS artwork on the other side, because I like to do designs artwork, but it really is missing that like cut and paste, punk flyer artwork or the whole craft type of design. But it's pretty good. I mean, I shouldn't be complaining because we don't really have this nowadays. It's scary, but it's worth watching. Keep up the great work, and I'll talk to you guys later. And watch Phase 7. I recommended that last time when the pandemic started, and I think you guys will get a kick out of it. All right, take care. Bye.
Thank you, caller, for this voicemail. What do you think about this voicemail, Sean? It was a little, sometimes when I play these back, they're a little quiet in my headphones, so I missed a little bit of it. But what do you think about this voicemail, Sean?
Well, I like that you think that I've got better hearing than you somehow, that, this guy...
Is it quiet for you as well?
Well, I mean, after I just spent all week listening to ukulele songs at full volume, everything is quiet.
Well, that's true.
But from what I made out, he was talking about the Blu-ray release for Intrépidos Punks.
Oh, yeah,
and the fact that it's not including, alternate artwork for the cover. And that he thought that, it should have that original OG artwork as an option. And I agree, and I feel like I guess I don't know exactly all the legalities of how this stuff works, but I would think if you got the rights to release a movie on Blu-ray, you're within your legal rights to like reuse previous artwork, right? Like I don't know that they would have to separately license the home video artwork or anything like that. Hopefully that's not a case. But Yeah, but I agree. Give me those OG covers whenever you can. I haven't got the Blu-ray yet. I am looking forward to it. I do want to see those pixels. But you can't get everything that you want in life, I guess.
Yeah. I also want those pixels. I like that movie a great deal. I thought it was very fun. I would imagine. Maybe if it's like. I don't know what the original artwork was like. I'd have to look it up. But if it was like a painting or something, I would think that you would probably have to pay the artist again to use it in a different medium, maybe, when upgrading to Blu-ray, possibly. So maybe they're cheaping out and don't want to do that. Yeah, I don't know what the rules are. That's interesting. I'll have to look into it.
Yeah, because you see it, fairly often, but not all the time. But I wonder why we don't see it all the time. Is it just availability of elements? Like, do they not have a high-def scan of the artwork? And I don't know. Or they just thought it wasn't necessary. But, the fact that these movies are even getting restored and preserved, things like this, or Spookies, or so many of the titles that have come through Vinegar Syndrome or Severin, or, all these other boutique labels over the past 10 years, is pretty rad. I feel like we never would have expected that these movies would have any kind of second life. So, I love the work that they're doing, even if it's not always, 1000% exactly what you wanted.
Yeah, it is surprising. Especially a movie like Intrepidos Punks. We've done a lot of movies on the show over the years that it's like we watched like a shitty VHS rip on YouTube, and I would have just imagined that would be the best quality anybody would ever see of that movie until the end of civilization. So I'm glad that these movies are getting those Blu-rays.
Yeah.
Now let's see them get the virtual reality version that makes you feel like you're inside Intrepidos Punks. That's what I want. That's the next upgrade I need.
I think that's too scary.
That's probably true.
I don't want to live in this weird future with these weird punks.
Well, I agree. But if you want to tell us about the kind of weird punks that you want to live with, do so by calling the junk mail hotline, the JFT hotline, at 347-746-JUNK. That's 347-746-5865. Or go to facebook.com/junkfoodinner. Hit the call now button. Let us know how you're doing. Let us know if you got a name for that segment that we did earlier. Let us know how you feel about Intrepidos Punks. All that kind of stuff. In the meantime, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about this week's movie, which is called Bumpkin Soup, aka a bunch of other different things that I'm sure we'll talk about in a few minutes, so stick around.
Yeah, I don't want to live in this new world of weird skins.
What on earth is that a reference to?
I have no idea.
God came to the woman just like I'm coming to you. Oh, and I feel God is dealing with some of you. You feel like you're backed into a corner. There's no place to go. The devil has you cornered. And if you move toward God and he doesn't move toward you, then you would be the provider. And even when you just make the call and ask for
junk food dinner,
God sees the desires of your heart. God is obligated to honor your faith.
This is a way that we can make contact with you that are far away or those that are close that aren't able to get to service.
And tonight's issue is, should New Yorkers carry handguns or should they be allowed to have handguns? The number is
347-746-JUNK.
And you can call it and we could talk about it.
Why don't you pick up the phone right now and call that toll-free number?
I want to thank everybody from calling us, except for those of you that interrupted the show with your rudeness.
若い娘を恥ずかしめられたらどんなにいいだろう。
あの子ここの学生じゃありませんよ。
そんなこと関係ない。
あ、
君は何を怒っているのだろう。ここでこうして巡り会えたのに。
また来ます。
学は花盛り愛と歓喜とオルガンと大学は花盛り一言で言えば戦場さ大学は花盛りモラトリアームの暇つぶし大学は花盛り一言で言えば感動さ
吉岡さんはそんな人じゃなかった
僕はいつでもどこでも僕は僕夢はいつでもどこでも夢は夢いつでもどこでも何もかもいつでもどこでも何もかにもが
All right, welcome back to Junk Food Supper, and our movie tonight is going to be Bumpkin Soup from 1985, also known as, well, boy, a lot of titles, you know, as we mentioned. I guess maybe most famously also known as The Excitement of the Do-Re-Mi-Fa Girl, I believe. Around this neck of the woods, it's been known as Stuck at 93.5% Leached. That's how I refer to this film, because that's been its status for me for many months, sadly. But I've got a lower quality copy that I'm able to watch and was able to share with Bowman this past week. He actually did reply to my messages when I sent him this digital gift. Did not leave me hanging, because he was excited to see this. This is an offbeat comedy directed by a young Kiyoshi Kurosawa, the guy that did Pulse. And to give some context, this is 1985, and he had recently made his debut directing a pink movie called Kandagawa Pervert Wars for a company called Million Films, who was kind of like the leading independent producer of pink films in Japan at the time. That movie, Kandagawa Pervert Wars, was sort of a riff on Rear Window, but Million Films liked it enough to release it, which sadly was not the case with this movie, Bumpkin Soup. This was his second effort for Million Films, was to be a Million Films release. At the time, it was called College Girl: Shameful Seminar. But the reaction from Million Films when they saw the footage that they got back was like, what the fuck is this? You know, we paid you to make a porno and you shot this thing instead. We're not going to put this crap out. Thankfully, Kurosawa was able to purchase the footage back himself and kind of rework it into something that he liked. And then he was able to release it on his own via the Directors Company, which was kind of like a collective of artistically minded directors in Japan at the time. As for the story of this movie, it's one of those young woman coming of age sort of stories, you know, in a surreal kind of a world, sort of like your Oz's or your Alice's. In this case, the young woman is named Amy, and she's visiting a college for the first time, coming in from the countryside, but she is not a student at the college. Instead, she is just there to look for her old flame, a young man named Yoshioka, who she has been missing since he left for college. But after she arrives at the school, she finds a strange world filled with weirdo students and, in particular, a very strange professor of psychology, played here by Juzo Itami, the director of Tampopo, The Funeral, and many other movies. He had also recently started his own directing career. He had done The Funeral before this, but the guy had been acting for many years leading up to that, and he is great as an actor, especially in this. There's something really funny to me about the wry way that he delivers these very absurd lines of dialogue. Anyhow, the character he's playing has written a book called New Liberal Psychology, The More You Know, The More You Are Ashamed, which I think is kind of a funny title for a book. And a good chunk of the movie is about exploring this creepy old professor's thoughts on sexuality and thoughts on shame, which, not to spoil it, but I will, all culminates in some wild sexual experiments, like of the mad science variety, like some pretty wild stuff. Outside of that, we got some interesting shot compositions. There's usually a lot of stuff happening in any given frame of this movie. And there's a lot of like Euro art film type stuff, these like Godard style interludes where characters stand around holding signs with abstract poetry on them as they kind of just stare directly into camera. And maybe there might be somebody in the background banging on a drum or something. To the point where I think, these silly little interludes are intended to be kind of a deliberate send-up of European art films. I think this does kind of function, at least partially, as a parody of those kinds of movies, where you get all these scenes where characters are musing about the nature of life and things like this while very silly and absurd things are happening all around them. The school location, I think, is also pretty interesting. It's this kind of abandoned-looking building complex with very strange architectural features, weird-looking staircases and things like this. It almost looks kind of like a cheap, like gaudy attempt to replicate like a European music conservatory or something, some old-ass and opulent European building, but done in this kind of cheap and 1970s-ish kind of way that makes it kind of a cool setting for a story like this that is maybe sort of a send-up of European high culture. Overall, I think this is a memorable movie, mostly based on its imagery. There's a lot of striking images in this. This is a movie that I took a lot of shots from when I was making my own little music videos last year, because it almost feels like it's just built for that. Like in any given scene, you'll have these little cutaways to just interesting little images that I really thought worked very well. It's also sort of a musical. It's not like a full-on musical, but it's kind of halfway there. There's a lot of focus on music in the dialogue and in the setting. Like the school that they're at has all these posters of like Beethoven and Brahms and stuff in the background. And then, there's little opportunities for them to work in songs throughout the runtime. Like there's a part where a boyfriend in this is apologizing for cheating on his girlfriend, and he does so with this pretty funny song and dance routine. And, these are the things that I feel like you don't usually see in a Pink movie, and probably were the reasons why Million Films was like, what the fuck is this? We can't release this. But for me, I think that's what makes this a lot of fun. That he was willing to push beyond just making a Pink movie and wanted to make this kind of weird, absurd comedy out of it. And, at the same time, you get a decent quotient of tits on screen. So I think he was able to still deliver on some of that promise. I thought the actors were all really good in their roles, especially this lead girl who plays Amy. And, as I mentioned before, Juzo Itami as the professor is fucking hilarious to me. I love the way the guy plays violin in this. I guess ultimately, this is a movie that I really like. And I'm curious to find out what Bowman thought of it. What did you think, Bowman?
Well, I was excited to watch this one because I like this guy a great deal based on Pulse, which is a movie that I absolutely love. And yeah, and also like intriguing because, you know, I read a little bit about it and you talked a little bit about it when you picked it. Like the fact that it's like a comedy and sort of a porno comedy seems very different from Pulse, like just diametrically opposed sort of tones and things like that, which is like this very melancholy sort of science fiction horror movie. But despite the fact that they're very different in tone and execution in pretty much every single way, they are similar in that they're both, you know, very like Gen X. They're both like very interested in kind of like the horror of growing older, I think, to some degree. So yeah, like I didn't really think you can draw parallels to these two very, very different movies. But I don't know. I you know, reading about this, I get that this, like you said, is sort of like a play on a lot of those like French movies. I haven't seen a lot of those. So I don't really get the references. This did, although before reading about that, this did actually remind me of a couple of things. It reminded me of that Jacques Tati movie we watched.
Oh, Playtime.
Playtime, yeah, it reminded me of that. And it also kind of reminded me a little bit of that movie, I think it's The Guard, that one that's like a cyberpunk sort of poem movie.
Oh, Alphaville?
Alphaville.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminded me of that too, in that a lot of the dialogue in this is that, like, my least favorite genre of movie, I think, one of my least favorite genres is the Japanese movie where everybody talks in sort of like philosophical poems rather than human dialogue. And it happens a lot in anime. I don't know that I've ever really encountered it in live action, but I feel like this is one of those movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just impenetrable to me. When people sort of start saying out loud in dialogue, like, what should be the subtext and themes of the movie, I got it. It just makes me tune out so hard. Like, people sort of just reading poetry about their social philosophies. I don't know. It's just like almost nothing on earth makes me tune out as quick as that.
I do think that's the point, though. Like, I don't think Kurosawa is, you know, trying to say these characters are noble or wise, or like I think he's on your side. He thinks that they're full of shit and what they're saying is just pompous nonsense, you know? I
think that's true. Which is kind of what makes me think about Pulse, because Pulse is sort of, it kind of deals with themes like that, where it's just like, I don't know, like sort of like the horror of being alone because you can't be around anybody, sort of like that Catcher in the Rye type of a feel. So yeah, like it definitely makes sense that this guy made both of these things. But it also, and while I appreciate that the movie thinks that these people are kind of dumb, it still does. I mean, like, you know, it's still bad to listen to. You know, it's like one of those funny games situations. You know, like your take on funny games, where it's like, I understand that I'm supposed to not like these people, but that doesn't make me like that doesn't make me like watching them. You know,
I guess there's a difference though between like, I don't know, like lovable pompous buffoons versus like just actively grating and annoying like protagonists in funny game. Yeah. For me, like, and I'm on board with you. Like, most of what the characters say in this, if it's not directly pertaining to the plot, which the plot relevant dialogue you can probably count on one hand, you know, but everything else it's just nonsense. But I find the people spouting that nonsense to, you know, otherwise be inoffensive and kind of fun and charming. So
yeah, those things definitely make sense. I definitely think, it's more of a pleasant time watching this than watching funny games for sure, even if you love funny games. Not a very pleasant thing. But, yeah, I get that. Yeah, this movie also reminded me of Everything Everywhere All at Once in some parts. So I think the directors of that movie liked this movie. Even in that one song that you mentioned, I think it's that song, the song where he's like, the guy is apologizing with that cutesy little song, which is a scene that I liked. I think part of the lyrics, he even says something pertaining to this is happening everywhere. He almost says the phrase of that movie, but it's a little bit different. So I think that they probably just totally stole it. I think he says everything, everywhere, all at one time, or something like that. But
interesting.
So yeah, I like that scene. But yeah, I don't know. Like, this seems like the kind of thing I should like. But yeah, I think I'm just not getting the references or something, because it's, like I said, it's very like Gen X-y. It's very like, it feels like you could probably play this like after Slacker or something, and it wouldn't feel too out of place, or like a triple feature, with some stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. Like, and then like some of the weird stuff that happens near the end, like I feel like I should like that kind of stuff where it just gets like super surreal and weird.
Yeah, you must have at least enjoyed the sexual experimentation on screen.
Well, the sexual experimentation, I don't know. I mean, I always like sexual experimentation on screen, but it does make sense. Well, you said that, like this was supposed to have a lot more boobs and sex in it, and then it ended up getting cut out because there's like only a couple of scenes of or maybe just one scene of like the weird sex stuff, maybe two. And
there's
so
a few. And there's a scene where the girl's jerking off for no reason.
Oh, yeah, like her grandfather did. I do remember that.
Exactly, yeah. And then the other scene where another girl is jerking off for no reason on a red telephone, if you remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess there's a few pervert scenes, but yeah, there's so few though that it does really stick out when they happen. To whereas I guess if this was like the original director's intended version, there'd be a lot more of that, so it would seem a little less off-putting the more that you had in there. Because yeah, it would be like, all right, we're doing like some kind of like whimsical musical number, and now here's a very graphic pervert scene. This is very strange. So I don't know. I guess I just got to grapple with the tone of this. It is interesting though. I might watch it again one day and see if I respond differently to it, because it has a lot of elements that I feel like I should like, that when other directors do them, I like them. But yeah, I don't know. It didn't click for me.
Interesting. So I feel like this is not going to be at the top of your list, 10 episodes from now, when we're re-ranking in that to-be-named segment.
Probably not, no.
Well, damn.
But I'm glad I watched it. I want to see more of this guy's stuff, because like I said, Pulse is a masterpiece.
Yeah. And it's a weird blend. I can fully see not loving this from the outset. I actually liked it more this time than the first time I saw it. But the first time I saw it, I was a little bit off-put by it. I don't know. It's kind of an uncomfortable watch in some ways, where it does feel, I don't know, like a little bit like exploitation in terms of like, I don't know, like it's an uneasy balance of like weird porno elements and then just kind of fun, frivolous whimsy. But I think, once you're primed for that kind of experience, and the Japanese love blending these kind of tones, just throwing sex in the weirdest possible movies,
And again, in Japan, that's, kind of common.
Yeah, that is true, Kevin. Once you're primed for that, I don't know. I think there's a lot here, and certainly it's not like most other movies, which that's something that I'm always looking for. Is it's a movie that's unique. If you want to see a cute girl speed smoke a cigarette in an alarming fashion, probably there is no better movie than Bumpkin Soup. Yeah,
there very well could be.
You must have loved that absurdly strong rotating desk fan in the classroom scene.
Yeah, that was all right. I like that fan. I'm a big fan of that fan.
Did you like Juzo Itami's violin playing?
I think I kind of averted my eyes anytime that guy was on screen. I didn't like him nearly as much as you did.
What? You didn't like
think
Juzo in this?
No, I didn't think he was that funny.
Oh, dude, I no joke, like, I spend a lot of time just thinking about his performance in this movie and just smiling to myself. And people come by, they're like, "Why are you smiling, dude?" I'm like, "Ah, it's Juzo." They don't know what I'm talking about, but I know.
Yeah, I don't know about that Juzo. In fact, we're not going to talk about Juzo.
Okay.
That's my Philip Jeffries impersonation.
We should do maybe A Taxing Woman someday. We should do one of his movies. I wonder... You've seen Tampopo. Did you like Tampopo? You like that, right?
I kind of don't remember it. I feel like I was pretty underwhelmed by that one.
Okay.
Which I know is sacrilegious. I know people kind of love that movie.
It's not my favorite of his movies, so we can try again with another one. Maybe Supermarket Woman. I think you probably would love Supermarket Woman. I'll pick that someday.
Okay. Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've got a movie to pick for you.
Oh.
I actually was coming into the episode feeling very good. I had a plan all week. Since last week, I was like, all right, I got the perfect movie. I'm going to lay it down for Sean. He's going to be very excited for this plan that I have. I was going to suggest that we watch and review Alien Romulus. And then at the last minute, like right before we started recording, I realized it doesn't come out until next week.
Yeah, you fucked up, dude. You fucked up in a big way.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can recover from this. I mean, I guess you can just pick another movie and we will watch that. But now that you've already revealed to me your original plan, you know whatever you pick, I'm going to be judging it against Alien Romulus, a movie that I, at that point, will have not seen but have extremely high hopes for. So will whatever movie you pick stack up against my hopes and dreams for Alien? I don't know. That's going to be a tough comparison.
Well, that actually, I'm glad you said that, because that was my thinking with this new pick. So I'm going to give you a choice. We can either keep on keeping on with the Alien thing and do one of the movies from the Alien franchise, or a totally different movie altogether. So I guess you got to decide, when you go in to see Alien Romulus, do you want another one of these Alien movies fresh in your mind? Do you want to be thinking about this other one, comparing the two, contrasting? If you hate the Alien movie that we talk about, will that spoil your entire Alien Romulus viewing experience, or will it be enriched by immersing yourself in the alien lore at large? That's the questions that you must answer for yourself. Or do you just want to skip Aliens entirely and watch something totally different?
Well, in this theoretical scenario, am I picking the Alien movie, or you're going to just throw any of the Alien movies at me?
I've got one in mind. It's not part 1 or 2, since we already did those on Junk Food Dinner.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm checking the receipts right now, and it looks like we've only done those first 2.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be those. And it's not any of the Aliens versus Predator, so it's not anything too horrible.
Okay. I mean, I just watched Alien, the first one, within the past few days. I was planning on moving on through the rest of the series. I have plenty of time to do so, so this could align really well with my already existing movie watching plans. So I say let's do it, man. There's probably no better time for us to talk about the Alien movies.
That is a very good point. All right, Alien 3, directed by David Fincher, a man who's one of my mainest dudes. I think it's the movie we got to talk about.
You love that,
a very controversial Alien movie.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. I think we'll have some hot takes then on this 30-year-old movie.
Yeah. I think all the takes about this movie are hot. Like, I think this movie is like, either you love it or you hate it. There's not a lot of in between that I've ever heard of. So yeah, I think it'll be a good one.
Okay, Alien 3. I like it.
Wonderful. It's a done deal. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we got to wrap this one up, right?
I think we do. Yeah, I think we do, sadly.
Okay.
It's already late and I'm so sleepy.
All right. Well, that wraps up this anniversary edition of Junk Food Supper. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your voicemails. Thank you for your support. Thank you for calling 347-746-JUNK. That's 347-746-5865. Giving us a voicemail. Thank you for going to join the Discord. Thank you most of all for going to patreon.com/junkfooddinner, signing up, giving us a couple of dollars. That would be nice. If you give us $5 a month, you can listen to literally hundreds of bonus episodes, many of which are Twin Peaks based in nature. If you're one of those guys who used to make fun of me for not liking David Lynch and not getting what he was about, well, now's the time for you to go sign up and listen to these Twin Peaks episodes we've been doing, because maybe the joke's on you. Maybe I love David Lynch. Only time will tell. And then even on top of that, there's like 100 other episodes with Kevin on there. We're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. There's an episode where I interview Corey Feldman. So that's worth a couple of dollars, right? Go sign up for that. I think that's everything. Join the Discord, join the Music League, find us in the streets, say hello.
Yeah. We are still accepting Little Squeezer's phone calls for Kevin. That's still a pet project of ours. By the way, Peter from Portland, I think it was, who most recently achieved that goal. Congratulations. I hope you feel good about what you've done to spread joy to the world and especially to the world of Kevin Moss.
Yeah. Peter is the first inductee into the Little Squeezers Hall of Fame. This is going to be an ongoing thing. Call in on the next Kevin episode. Reference Little Squeezers. You'll also be inducted into the Little Squeezers Hall of Fame. So,
yeah.
It's prestigious.
If you want to work in a pointed reference to their crazy bread and maybe get the name wrong in a funny way, like you call it Daffy bread or something, I don't know what you would call it. You come up with the name. As we've established, I'm not good at these names. But, something along those lines. That might be fun.
Yeah. If you want to reference that Batman Calzone thing that they made that had a silly name, that would be fun. That thing was kind of gross.
I don't even know about this.
It came out a couple years ago when that shitty Batman movie came out. They had like a pizza that they wrapped it in a certain way so it looked like the Batman logo. It was pretty intense.
All right.
But anyway, that's the new thing. People become part of the Hall of Fame. But until next week, this is Parker for Sean saying thanks for having fun.
It's already late and I'm getting sleepy.